Hey, kia ora whānau. Welcome back to Kaitaki Marakai Backyard Gardens up here in Kaikohe. Today's activity, I'm going to be looking after my tomatoes. So you'll see some of these ones here, they're kind of bushed up, all bushy and fruit starting to come through, and there's one red one down on there. All the nice yellow flowers are all my where the tomatoes are growing. But I've been tying up my tomatoes along here, and it's all bushy. So I just need to do some husbandry work on there to make sure that there's aeration going on, and I also want to redivert the modi or the energy that's going into the leaves more into the fruit. So I'll be pulling out laterals, I'll be trimming some of the branch picker along the bottom there, just want to have aeration circulating around my fruit, but also it allows to let the sun in. And then my raised bed, I'll be just trimming those up, making sure they're tied up okay. And then the other tomatoes that I've got peppered around the place, just checking on those, see how they're going, if they need staking, tie them up and so forth. You're going to need to stake your tomatoes as they grow, particularly with the fruit. The fruit will get heavy and then they'll just fall over. Now, if you've got a bit of a food forest and you're growing that type of thing, whether it's in permaculture, I've seen some folk that, particularly around swales, they'll have tomatoes growing on swales and they're not worried about it. They just let them grow along the ground and just crawl along there. It's just a bit more of an effort to get to it. Because of space, I've got them trellised up along my back wall here. So that's my made today. Just tidying up tomatoes, making sure there's aeration happening, and staking, pulling out laterals, and just trimming along the bottom. Yeah, I want to shift the modi from the energy going into the leaves to now back into the fruit, make them as big as possible. Okay, enjoy. Take a minute. So for the sake of learning, I'm just going to quickly show you the ways that I've done my tomatoes. And I'll start off actually with this one beside my beehive. Here is a Tom Thumb tomatoes that I've grown, and all I've done is pretty much traditionally just planted it in the ground and then let it, I've got a stake in the, oops, take my foot, sorry about that, stake in there, and it's just growing up. Now one of the things that you got a wall beside us or a fence, I've also just let it make its way up to the fence to find its own support. And pretty much now we have got all these nice yellow flowers in the full sun. Sun comes from this way behind me. I've just utilised that space there, and as you can see there's some tomatoes on the bottom. Next one, so that's more of a traditional way of doing tomatoes. Put them in the ground, stake them, and you'll see that around the place I've got one in there, I've got another one over there, and where my new lettuces are, I've got two planted over there. Those are pretty much just stake them and let them grow. So those are the traditional top ones. Raised beds, again, tomatoes, raised beds, and as you can see, look at all that foliage. So this is telling me, or as I'm watching it, and particularly in the Maramataka Māori at the moment, we had a new moon a couple of days ago, and so you'll start seeing the slither or the light going through, and we're coming up to that first quarter or the first half of the new moon. And so what's happening there is that the moon is pulling all the modi or all the energy from out of my soil and into the tahu and all the peka into the foliage. Now so what I'm needing to do at this part of the Maramataka Māori is make sure that I'm watering and also feeding tomato fertilizer, or in my case I'm using worm juice or a combination of the two, so that it goes into your fruit. Now one of the difficult things, as you can see with my tomatoes all along here, if I just leave it like this, it'll get really bushy and you won't get much fruit out of it. You'll get some, but look, you know, I've got flowers in there, so there's flowers in it, but that's bushy. And so I'm just going to along the bottom here for the sake of aeration, and I'm going to be doing this with all my tomatoes, but this is a great example of that. and I'll do a video on that one later on today. Is I'll trim off these lower leaves just to give the ability for the wind to be able to blow through it and aerate it. And then where you see the laterals, like there's a lateral there, there's another one over there, there's another one up the top. I'm going to need, there's one over there that's grown. See how that peak has popped off down the bottom there, and there's a lateral that's come up there. See it. Yeah, I really don't want that to happen, but I've left it too late. And here's another example. Look at this one. So this pecker now, it's come from a lateral, but it started in there. So, and here's another one with, yeah, I'll pull that one off. Actually, it's got fruit on it, I think. Yeah, fruit. No, I'll pull that off. But here's a lateral. Here's the tahu, the main trunk of the tomato, and the pecker branches off. So I'm going to be cutting off probably these lower ones just to aerate it. But this one here, this lateral is now turned into another pecker, and it's growing up. As opposed to, this is the main. This one here was the main tahu. See, and there's another one in there. So I'm just going to be pulling these out. Now, one of the things you can do with these laterals, like you could cut this one off and put it into, see all this furry bit here? I'm not sure if you can see the furry, well, they can turn into roots. And I could replant this and this can become another tomato, but I've got fruit at the top. That's what happens when you leave it. So all of a sudden you got these shoots that come off and create new pecker alongside the tahuhu. You don't really want that to happen. You really want all your mauri, all the energy to go into the fruit. So at the moment it's all foliage. So we do need to do a bit of work on that, and just to tidy it up. Again, the purpose is I'm redirecting the energy that's coming out of the soil for this time of year. The moon's telling me that as the light on the moon heads up to halfway, it's pulling things up, like tides are coming up. It's pulling things out of the soil. So the microorganisms, the fungi and the worms are feeding it, and creating sugars inside the soil, and the fruit, the vegetables, or in this case the tomatoes, taking those up and putting it inside the plants that we have here. Anyway, I've got 15, 20 tomatoes that are around the property that I'll be doing that with, a selection of tomatoes, steak, hunger busters, Tom Thumbs, both yellow and red. Yeah, that's the mahi that I'm going to be doing today in the mara. Tidying up, setting my fruit and vegetables up for the best possible harvest I can get. Alright, hey, good night. Well, here's my raised bed tomatoes as an example of what I've done to tidy up a bit. Earlier you would have seen this as a big clump of foliage, and now I've trimmed back some of the pecker on the lower levels, also trimmed back the pecker that were facing inside each other, and just pulled out any of the laterals that were sitting on the higher branches. The ones that were down below, so for example, there was a lateral, this one here has become another pecker, and there's the pecker that came out here, and the lateral, this was the lateral. So I've just cut that one off, partly because it's growing in the centre, that allows the air to go through it, and then yeah, just going to put up with this one as a new shoot, only because we've got fruit at the top. Yep, just pulling off these little laterals that grow So yeah, that's my tidying up of my tomatoes. Now what I've done is, because I've pulled back the amount of foliage on there, you know, actually it's probably not a good one of the disadvantages of trimming like I've done now, I probably should have done it 2 weeks ago or a week ago, is I might start seeing seepage coming out of where I've cut. As the energy comes up, it'll go should have thought about that a little bit more. Little one when you're trying to follow Māori principles of growing, particularly around the lunar phases. So I'm just going to keep an eye on that. But anyway, principle is aeration, needing aeration around there, pulling back the foliage in order that instead of the energy from the soil and the goodness and going into the leaves, is now going into, I'm rechanneling things to go into the fruit. But even now, just thinking through steps that I've done, and if I see like these cuts here, if I start seeing juice come out of there, it's still a bit dry, so I might be okay. I might just hold off for a little bit, maybe till thinking. This is one of the great things about gardens, thinking through solutions as they appear to you. Yeah, what options I could do. Anyway. You've now just seen what I've just been thinking through for our whānau out there that are into gardening, and particularly around following maramataka Māori. Should I be pruning now, knowing the phase that we're in, or should I wait a bit? I know I should have possibly done it more to the end of, or coming into the new moon, so the last quarter of the last moon phase, or the moon cycle. So I know I could have done it then, but we were away. We had a tangi that we had to go to, so yeah, but I've got all that to trim. I might just watch this for 24 hours and see what happens. It's one of the cool things about gardening. Things are presented in front of you as you're chipping away or working away at it, and then other ideas pop into your head, or learnings that. So I've just had what they call maramatanga, revelation or understanding or insight, making connections. Okay whānau, hey, click the like button, click the share button, turn on that notification so we get more of these if you like them. But this is Rewa Te Kahu, Kaitaki Marakai, Backyard Gardens, Food Security and Sustainability, encouraging whānau to think about their own sovereignty around food and food supply. Okay, have a great day. Get back into the garden. Hey, good night. Hey, kia ora whānau, welcome back. Hey, bit of mahi taran today, as I indicated, cleaning up my tomatoes. So you'll see in the background there, I pruned them back a bit, particularly around the foliage, pulled out the laterals, and I also put some tomato fertiliser on, and worm juice and water, and same with Valmera. Here we go, that's what she looks like. So tied up, cleaned down the base, so now we've got nice circulation of air along the bottom, pulled off the foliage in order that the energy can go to the fruit as opposed to the foliage. And then I put some pellet fertiliser down, tomato fertiliser. Now it's just waiting for these to ripen up. That's the tomatoes. Pretty stoked with that. Good mahi today. And put all the foliage onto my compost, and I'll just build it up, make more compost. then it looks pretty good. Now it's let the sun, like those little tomatoes down. See down in there? I want you to do a zoom. Starting to rub it up. Nice. Cherry tomatoes. The variations. Pretty stoked with that. Tried something different this year. As they grew, just used a string. Use the stake method normally. Anyway, whānau, that's my tomatoes.